One of the hardest decisions you'll have to make when starting your sewing journey is which sewing machine to buy. Which one is right for you? So let's take the time to figure that out together in today's video. A sewing machine is a pretty vital part in sewing. It is literally doing all the work. I mean, do you need a sewing machine? No, you can easily sew with a needle and thread, do some handwork, some couture craftsmanship, if you will. But if you are down for efficiency and getting things done quickly, or just not spending hours and hours and hours doing something, then a sewing machine is what you need to get. But before you go out and buy a machine, here's some questions you should ask yourself. Question 1, what do you plan to sew? Do you plan on doing knitwear? Do you plan on doing wovens, maybe some denim? Maybe you plan on quilting. Figure out what you plan to sew the most, and then we can go from there. If you're doing knits, as in like t-shirts, hoodies, swimwear, dancewear, things like that, there are certain stitches you'll need for your fabric. You need zigzag stitch, you'll need stitches that finish edges if you don't have an overlock machine. You'll need stretch stitches. Now, doing wovens is a little easier. You really just need the basic straight stitch and back stitch. However, if you're doing denim or any heavyweight fabrics like canvas, things like that for utility wear, then you'll need an industrial machine, something heavier, something stronger that'll get through layers and layers of the fabric because it is strong and very hard to go through. Doing quilting, again, straight stitch would work, but the size and the frame of the sewing machine will come into play. So consider what you want to sew before you're actually going to buy your sewing machine. Question number 2, how often do you plan to sew? Are you trying to sew every day as if you're running a business, turning things out over and over and over, or maybe being a heavily active influencer and cranking out project after project after project? Or do you plan to sew leisurely, like a slow hobby? Maybe you'll touch your machine once a month, once every couple months, once a week, something like that. Depending on how often you sew, you want to get a machine that can handle the workload. I haven't tested this or researched this, but a lot of machines today have plastic on the inside, a lot of plastic parts, and they can break down faster because they're not built to work hard or withstand a lot. So this is something to think about as you're buying a machine. I personally would like a machine with metal on the inside because that's going to stand test of time. Question number 3, how much space do you have? Machines come in a variety of sizes. You can get a domestic machine, which is what I have, this size. Some come smaller, some come a little bigger, or you can get an industrial machine, which comes with a whole table. It does not come with a whole table. You have to buy the table. Let me not steer you wrong, but the table is clearly going to take up more space. So consider the amount of space that you have. If you plan to tuck it away into a cabinet so it can't be seen, or if you plan to leave it out. That's something you want to consider because you want to make sure that you have enough space for your sewing machine. I sometimes store my machine up top on the table, like if I'm using it a lot, and then when I'm not, I put it underneath the table in a bookshelf. So this works for me. I have a plan for it, and it works. Now that you've taken the time to answer those questions, let's talk about the actual sewing machines. There are 6 brands known for sewing machines. 6 well-known brands on the market, I should say. You have Brother, Singer, Janome, Bernina, Conso, and Juki, and this ranges from domestic machines to industrial machines. All these brands are great, they're reliable, they have put skin in the game, and they've been here for decades. So in general, if you get a machine from any one of those brands, honestly don't know if they sell any other brands, they probably do, but if you get a machine from any of those brands, you are in a good place, in a good spot. That also does not mean that your first machine will be the final machine. This is my sewing machine. She is a Brother sewing machine, and I think I've had her since about 2004. She was not my first sewing machine. My first sewing machine was actually a Singer. I don't remember the model or make, but that was my first sewing machine, and I can't remember exactly what happened. Something may have broke on it, or it out of commission somehow. So this machine was actually the second machine I've got, and we've been rocking ever since. So as for me personally, me and mine, we use Brother because she clearly knows what she's doing. I have the Brother sewing machine, I have the cover stitch machine, and the overlock machine. So I am true and true a Brother girl. So Brother, if you want to hit me up, we can work something out, okay? So now let's talk about the features that you're actually looking for in a sewing machine. the first thing you want to look at is the price. Now, I don't think your first sewing machine should break the bank. Should you? Could you? If it's right for you, maybe. If you find all the features that you need and you need to spend a pretty penny for it, then go ahead, be my guest. But I really don't think that you should be spending an arm and a leg on your first sewing machine. Like mine, my first one, she didn't last long. I don't know how long, but it wasn't long enough. I would honestly say maybe do a couple hundred, 2, 3. 3 is pushing it. Stay within your comfort zone, okay? This is a hobby. Honestly, to save some coin, I would say Facebook Marketplace. There's always somebody getting rid of a machine, and it's always better to test on a smaller dime than a large dime in my book, okay? So do a price that's good for you. If you're going the retail route, cross-match against different stores. Joann, Walmart, Amazon, Target even has machines now. So do your research, make sure you're getting the good price on the model that you want. Second feature you're going to look at is stitch options. Again, once you figure out what you're going to sew, you're going to know the stitches that you need. If you're doing a lot of knit things, the stitches that you will need are knit stitches, zigzag stitch, stretch stitches. Whereas if you're doing basic woven things, you're going to need straight stitches. In my opinion, a sewing machine, you should always have at least a straight stitch, a back stitch, and a zigzag stitch. Buttonhole stitch, buttonhole maker, buttonhole stitches. We're going with that. Those are the 4 things I think you should always have in your sewing machine. So when you're looking across the market, make sure that you at least have those. Beyond that, if you're quilting, you may want some decorative stitches. Some machines come with 15, some machines come with 40. So look at it. See if it's something you want, something you need. In basic clothing sewing, I don't think you need all those stitches. I have 25 stitch options on mine, and I probably only use 3. I use 3 and occasionally 3 others if I don't feel like pulling out my overlock machine. So you don't have to go ham on the stitches if you don't actually need them. Third thing you're going to consider is the strength of the machine. How much power does it actually have? This, again, is if you're doing heavyweight fabrics, you need her to go. You need her to have that juice. You need her to have the power to go through all that weight, okay? As far as I know, Singer is the only one that has an industrial domestic machine, a heavy-duty domestic machine, but I think that is the only domestic one that claims to be focused on heavyweight items. Fourth feature to think about is if you want a mechanical sewing machine or a computerized sewing machine. Computerized sewing machines are pretty automatic. They do a lot of things for you. You touch a button and it can go on its own. Mainly the buttonhole. If I were getting a computerized machine, that is what I would really want it for, just so I could push a button and it sews a buttonhole, because I hate buttonholes. But they have an LED screen and you push the buttons to choose your stitches and the stitch width. As for a mechanical machine, which is what I have, you can still do the same things. You're just doing it with your hand instead of the machine doing it for you. Fifth feature you're looking at is the presser feet options. That's what we're going with. Fifth thing you want to look at is the presser feet options, okay? These are the little attachments that go onto your needle. So this right here, let me move it up. Oh, it's already done. Nope, what's happening? This, just kidding. I know how to work my machine. So this is a presser foot. It attaches to your machine and it basically decides how the fabric is going to feed through. There are different kinds. There's ones for knit fabric. There's ones for leather or faux leather, vinyl fabric. There's zipper presser feet for different types of zippers. There's different type of hem presser feet. So there's a lot of options that you can get. Now, the reason why you're considering this is because if it doesn't come with your machine, if it's not already stocked with your machine, you're going to have to buy them on your own. Now, is that a bad thing? No, but some of them could get up there in price, okay? So the more that you can get with your machine, I think is always the better option. Now, again, size, where are you going to store the machine? Is it going in a small space? Is it staying out? All that, yada, yada. The throat of the machine, which is from the needle to the neck of the machine, this space matters because it will make it either easier or harder for you to do things with a lot of fabric. So if you're doing gowns, which take layers and layers of fabric, or even quilting, which are big pieces, or embroidery, which may need the space, You want to consider the throat size for that. If you have a lot of fabric that needs to fit through here, you want to make sure you have that space to do that. I do not have that space. So if I do anything that takes a lot of fabric, like the red skirt I've done before, even the denim romper or the leopard print romper I just did, there's not a lot of space here. And if there's not, I'm pushing it through so it's not messing up my stitching, okay? If there's room in the throat, it would be easier to go through. Now let's cover how not to risk it all when buying your first machine. I don't want you to be cautious and overly scared and overly overwhelmed. That keeps you from buying a machine, but there's still some things you want to look out for. So to help save you time and maybe money, let's talk about it. So the first thing to save money, I would highly suggest using Facebook Marketplace or any used place to buy your machine. I only say that because one, it's cheaper, and two, you can get a feel of a machine. You can get a feel of sewing to make sure it's right for you without breaking the bank and being stuck with something kind of expensive, kind of costly. So if you can, get a used one, get it serviced, and test it out. Now, if you're going for a new one or even going for a used one, the second thing you want to do is look at the reviews. Check the reviews. People say things. Listen to them, okay? They've already gotten the machine. They've already used it. So if they're giving you a warning, pay attention. If someone is saying something broke and another person is saying something broke and another person is saying something broke, that is not a good look, okay? Take all that information into consideration. And the third thing, once you get the machine, if you're getting it new, get the warranty. I know spending the extra money, blah, 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 yeah. But it will give you a peace of mind. If something happens, you can take it back to the company and the company will fix it, okay? Get the warranty, protect yourself, protect your machine, protect your hobby, protect your sanity, protect it all, okay? Get the warranty. Now, if you're actually curious in seeing the machines work and what options are available to you and the features and all that, I've created a playlist for you to look at from other influencers and creators who've already tested machines. I unfortunately do not have that privilege yet, but I do want you to see what the machines can do and have that extra peace of mind. So until that day comes, I hope these videos will help you out. If you actually want to get into sewing this year, I've created a video about the strategy I would use if I were starting my sewing journey in 2025. You can check that out here, watch it, let me know what you think. Until next time, guys, keep designing your best life. Bye.